Do you know that Mexico is a communist country? All right, nah, it isn't. However, post-Mexican Revolution between the late and mid-1920s, tensions began to arise between the United States and Mexico. And this was over Mexico's perceived move to the left towards socialist and communist policies, a sentiment driven by Mexico's adoption of the 1917 Constitution, which was at least influenced in part by socialist ideology. For example, Article 27 of the 1917 Constitution grants rights over all resources within the national territories to the nation. It also grants the state the authority to expropriate those resources for public use and to redistribute them. And it also grants Mexico the right to regulate foreign investment in order to protect Mexican economic interests. Then Article 123 establishes an 8-hour workday, a minimum wage, protections for women and children in the workplace, as well as granting workers the right to organize, strike, and collectively bargain. And Article 27 in particular, which I've talked about in other videos, caused tension between the United States and Mexico, in particular because of American oil companies. American oil companies feared that the implementation of Article 27 could lead to the expropriation of their assets within Mexico, and thus they asked the United States to intervene on their behalf. And ultimately, the United States did get involved, leading to the Bucareli Treaty of 1923 between the United States and the administration of President Álvaro Obregón. This treaty wasn't really a treaty, it was more of a gentleman's agreement because neither nation's governments actually ratified it. Ultimately, the Bucareli Treaty served to quell the fears of American oil companies by ensuring that Mexico would not apply Article 27 retroactively, something that was later reaffirmed by the Mexican Supreme Court. However, tensions did flare up again when President Plutarco Elias Calles ultimately ended the treaty between 1926 and 1927, seeking to assert Mexico's sovereignty and enforce the laws as set forth by the 1917 Constitution, including Article 27. This move by the Mexican president led to American ambassador James R. Sheffield to accuse Mexico of being a second Bolshevik country, referring to the country as Soviet Mexico. We should be so lucky. Secretary of State Frank B. Kellogg accused President Calles of rapidly communizing Mexico and issued Mexico a warning, stating that continued American support of the Mexican government was dependent on Mexico protecting American economic interests in the country, going on to state that Mexico was now being tested before the world. It probably also didn't help that Mexico was the first country in the Americas to host a Soviet embassy. That's because we're based. Despite pressure from the United States, Mexico remained steadfast in asserting its sovereignty and enforcing its constitution. However, it was ultimately rot from within that weakened hard-fought labor and social reforms in Mexico through so-called neoliberal reforms implemented in the 1980s and the 1990s. This led to a decline in influence of labor unions and a shift towards the deregulation of labor markets under the administrations of presidents such as Carlos Salinas and Ernesto Zedillo. And if you didn't know, now you know. For more Mexican history, hit that follow, hit that like, leave a comment, and share this video.